Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with the Simpler Stocks free video for February 11th, 2016. As you see, it's about 5:53, about 2 hours after the bell. Basically, today was all about some bizarre stuff going on. Let me explain that. So you had Deutsche Bank, which has been plummeting. And before the opening today, there were rumors that the European Central Bank was going to buy some assets of some of the banks in Europe, and which to me is absolutely ludicrous. But that was the rumor, so I pass it along. So after that initial rally in Deutsche Bank, which then pulled up things like Goldman Sachs, then some reality started to get in. Believe it or not, when the market acted great earlier in the day and Deutsche Bank had acted pretty well, you saw that the bank stocks couldn't get out of their own way. Now, I was watching the ESs. I was watching Google. Let me show you. And Amazon finally bouncing back. Then I watched this with the ESs, and they just slowly started dying during the day. And the interesting thing in here is if you just go on charting, you would have seen this right here and been out right here with that nice little top developing right here. Other thing what you're getting now is you're getting the ESs still in this daily squeeze. And we're watching this flag pattern in here. And what happens usually in a bear market? You get these little pops that just crush bears. Let me give you a for instance of what I want to show you in here. Look at this rally today. At one time, the ESs were up almost 20. And then they sold off to actually be down for the day. Typical bear market activity in here. Check this out of where, and if you were deciding where to short the ESs, where did it stop? Right near resistance. But what always happens in a bear market? You get that tiny overshoot. Don't think that was an incorrect print. That was a correct print. And those are the type of things that hurt people. Let me show you on a 5-minute and give you an idea. Check this out. We're going to zoom out so you can get an idea. This was yesterday. Look at this pop this morning. All the way to 1877. And that was it. But it's amazing. It's like every short capitulates at the same time. I find those kind of things fascinating. Now, getting back to the overall market today, this is what I wanted to show you. The big thing that I mentioned yesterday that I said was going to be the biggest key was how our banks acted and how the Japanese yen acted. Now, the reason I mentioned that is because when you look at the overall indexes, so we're going to show you the Dow Jones transports on a weekly, and there's a reason I'm going to get from the yen to the transports and then back. Look at this on the left. I'm going to unlink it so you can get an idea. And you see that the transports got down to where they were in October 2013, and then they bounced. And so they've actually outperformed relative to the SPX. Look at the SPX on the right. This is what I want to show you is the reason I don't like the SPX is because it hasn't fulfilled this downside objective, which at the minimum gets it under this red line, under the 200 simple. Now, why am I looking at these together? If it was only the transports, I wouldn't. But put in the Russell. Let me put this in here. Look at this on a weekly. Same thing. Under its 200. Put in the bank index, which is actually way under. BKX. And this actually is a little scary, is how far under it is. This is down to 2012 levels. But the whole idea and the point of this is the only two that have held up are the SPX and the NDX. Now, what would make them have their next leg down? Well, this is where we get back to the yen. The Japanese government has been selling the yen, hoping to stimulate the economy. They've been actually buying Nikkei futures. Well, this is what's scary is when you see this top, and actually this is a bottom because it's the USD JPY. It's not the opposite. But this is just the way it works on here. When you see this head and shoulders top, and you see this plummet mode, even with the government trying to intervene, this is really dangerous. This means that the overall world is grasping for the yen and buying the yen, overwhelming their government trying to sell the yen, but the whole world is buying the yen as a flight to safety. So, they buy the dollar, they buy the yen. for this kind of flight to safety that overwhelms the government is pretty frightening, number one. But the reason I mention that, because I don't really trade the yen, is the effect it's having on the Nikkei. So now the Nikkei is getting down to this level, which is that October 2013 area. If this yen on the left gets down to real support, which is 105, 110, that would be a disaster. Now the thing is, I've been calling for this anyway, because right here you had head and shoulders right in this area that's about 7 points. 7 points from 118 gets you to 111. Now at 111, you gotta think the Nikkei gets down to this area, which is around 14,000. Why is that important? Because if the Nikkei, and let me put this on a monthly to give you a perspective. If the Nikkei on a monthly gets down to this 14,000 level, see the support right there? I have to think the SPX finally gets down to this area at 1,700. That's another 150 points down on the SPX. Now that would only get it to here. That would only get it to under the moving average, but at least you'd see that all these indexes correlate properly then. So that's what I'm looking for in this. On the simpler stocks premium side, we're going to be talking about individual stocks that had earnings today. Some of them had some wild earnings. Some of them that we had called before the opening of where it could go after market, how it hit support, and then reverse 28% after it hit support. So we're going to be going over all those and some unusual option activity and preparing ourselves for some earnings ideas tomorrow. Like you know, there's a $7 30-day trial that includes our hour chat before the opening, all the premium videos, and I post a lot of different content. And yesterday I was posting like colorful content of colorful tickers in the 25 stocks that have the biggest buybacks. So I hope you can join us on that, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.